Hi everyone, I'm June and my husband Gabriel is helping me write this story. Before I dive in, let me tell you something. My first meeting with Gabriel's parents, Louis and Lena, was a complete disaster. Here's what they said. I can't believe you would date such a loser, Gabriel. This woman has nothing going for her. She just works a desk job in a small office. How will she ever give us a good life? Mom, I love June and she's the only one I want. I don't care about how much money she has or earns. Those things never mattered to me. Well, they matter to us, Gabriel. We've made that very clear from the start. If you had listened to us, you would understand. Gabriel, if this girl has nothing else to offer, she can't be our daughter-in-law. We won't approve of her. You need to find someone else. No, Mom, June is the one for me. I'm going to marry her. I had the whole proposal planned, and now you've ruined everything. I was shocked the entire time this conversation happened. Yes, I was surprised Gabriel was planning to propose to me. We had been dating for 3 years, and I hoped he would ask me to marry him. But I didn't expect it so soon. But that wasn't the only reason I was stunned. Louis and Lena's reaction to our relationship was very upsetting. Gabriel had warned me about them. He had said, "Look, June, I've already met your dad. He's a great man and a great father. I know you have high hopes for my parents, but let me tell you, they are not good people." Gabriel, how can you speak about your parents like that? They must be good people since they worked hard to raise you. It must have been tough for them. They're really hardworking. You don't get it, June. Yes, they worked hard to put me through college, which helped me get a good job, but it was all out of greed. They always wanted me to marry someone wealthy so they could benefit from my wife's money and live comfortably. They won't be happy when they find out you work in an office. I was naive and didn't realize how selfish and cruel parents could be. My own parents were kind, and even Gabriel acknowledged that. Although he financially supported his parents, he didn't have much contact with them. He disliked them for some reason but didn't cut ties because they guilted him about their sacrifices. When I met his parents, I saw how greedy they were. Despite Luis and Lena's protests, Gabriel proposed to me and we got married. They threatened to boycott the wedding but eventually came after Gabriel pleaded with them. He didn't have much family and wanted his parents there desperately. They only agreed when he assured them that my family wasn't poor. My father owned a house and some property. They made it clear they were there for their own gain. They told me, ChatGPT, just so you know, June, we still don't approve of this marriage. Gabriel is successful and we expected him to marry someone wealthy. We're disappointed he didn't. We wouldn't have come if we thought you had nothing. Thank goodness your father has something to his name. I hope you remember us and our presence today when you eventually inherit the house. I'm getting married today, guys. My father is healthy, and there's no reason for you two to bring up inheritance. I walked away from them after hearing their words. My father was my only family, and hearing that on my wedding day was sickening. I couldn't believe Louis and Lena had the audacity to demand a share of my money. I didn't tell Gabriel about it. I didn't want to ruin his day, and I knew it was hard for him to cut off his parents. Unfortunately, things went downhill from there. Gabriel and I were happy together, but his parents were always nagging us about money. They kept asking about my father's wealth, but we never gave them a straight answer, so they kept bothering us. Their behavior was embarrassing and entitled. They had no right to know my father's worth. We couldn't avoid them because we lived in the same city, and Gabriel wanted some relationship with them. For a few years, I tolerated their greed. They drained our savings by asking for more and more money, making excuses and guilt-tripping us when we refused. And they never stopped commenting on me and my inheritance. ChatGPT. I started to ignore them, but things got worse when my father was diagnosed with cancer. It was aggressive, and he didn't have much time left. We flew to visit him a couple of times since he lived far away. Louis and Lena weren't happy about it. They said, "You shouldn't spend so much on flying to your father. You're doing it too often. It'll drain your money. Yeah, he won't live long anyway, and he's in hospice. There's nothing you can do for him now, so it's better to save your money and not waste it there." Visiting my dying father isn't a waste of money, guys. And what we do with our money is our business. You have no right to tell us. We're your in-laws and we have a say. It's for your own good. You should spend money on people who'll be around longer to enjoy it. I was furious at their words. Dealing with my dad's illness was already overwhelming, and anyone who's lost a parent knows how tough it is. Louis and Lena weren't being supportive. Instead, they were subtly telling me not to see my father and to spend money on them instead. Thankfully, Gabriel stood up for me and ended the conversation. But from that day on, I was determined to set things straight. Once I was in a better place emotionally, I vowed to show them where they stood. My dad passed away about 3 months after his diagnosis. It was devastating. Even though I knew it was coming, seeing his health decline was incredibly hard to accept. Gabriel was my rock through it all. He held my hand as we arranged the funeral. Louis and Lena bombarded me with messages asking about inheritance and funeral costs. It disgusted both of us, but we didn't react. We decided they'd face consequences when we returned home. As expected, Louis and Lena were at our doorstep as soon as we got back. They pestered us with questions. So the funeral's done. I've been curious. What did you inherit? Your father must have left you the house, right? What on earth are you talking about, Lena? How is my inheritance any of your business? I just came back from my father's funeral, and this is what you're concerned about. Oh, come on, June, don't be so sour. Since Gabriel married you, we've been wondering why. I mean, you don't have a fancy job, and you're not exactly a beauty queen. What did he see in you? Louis, and I figured it must be about money. Mom, what's gotten into you? How can you insult me and my wife like that? We got married because we love each other. I've told you this so many times. Please don't bring it up today. Gabriel, there's no need for the theatrics. We're just asking a question. June can answer, and we'll be satisfied. We wouldn't mind if you married her for money. We'd be happy to know you got a good deal. You're awful parents to accuse your own son of being a gold digger. You two are beyond belief. I can't fathom how someone as amazing as Gabriel ended up with parents like you. ChatGPT. Enough with the small talk, June. Tell us what you got in your inheritance. This is what I've been waiting for. Your father must have left you something. Gabriel mentioned he lived in a big house. You could just tell us now and buy us a house instead. We'd make great use of the money. After all, we're your parents now. Hearing this made my blood boil. I was furious, and Gabriel looked at his parents in disbelief. Even he couldn't believe how greedy and selfish they were. My father hadn't been gone for even a month, and they were already planning to use my inheritance for themselves. They even started calling themselves my new parents. That was the moment I knew I had to act. I had tolerated them for years for Gabriel's sake, but now I needed to show Gabriel their true colors. I replied, actually, my dad didn't own the house when he passed away. I'm sorry to disappoint you. He did own it for a long time, but he had to let it go recently for reasons. What? So your father didn't even own his house anymore? No, as I said, he owned it a long time ago. He had to let go of it recently, so no, I didn't inherit the house or anything else. Oh my God, so your father was poor after all. I knew you weren't wealthy. Your father couldn't even keep his house until the end. He died with nothing. Leave our son, you're worthless. Mom, our marriage isn't over because she didn't inherit anything. You can't ask her to leave me over that. Don't interrupt, Gabriel. We won't allow this marriage to continue. You disappointed us by marrying into a poor family. You didn't consider our happiness. I'm ashamed to have a son like you. June, I'm sure you trapped my son into marrying you. People like you use tricks to lure men. Your plan was to cut us off and take his money. Well, I won't let that happen. Louis and Lena pressured Gabriel to divorce me and marry a wealthy girl so they could live in luxury. Gabriel was upset and breaking down. I knew I had to help him make a decision. Gabriel, are you going to let your parents continue this? I've tolerated their greed for too long because you felt guilty cutting them off. Are you still going to keep them in our lives? I don't think we can recover from this, June. I've had enough too. Mom, Dad, you've shown me your true colors today. You've used me for your own gain for years. I won't tolerate it anymore. Don't be foolish, Gabriel. This girl will lead you astray from your family. We're doing this for your own good. We didn't invest in you just so you could give charity to someone else. You need to divorce your wife and start over. There's still time for you to find a wealthy wife. We'll help you this time. You've made too many mistakes on your own. No, I won't leave my wife because she didn't inherit anything. I'm done being manipulated. I'm staying with June. You two won't be a part of my life anymore. What will you gain by staying with June? This isn't what we wanted. She's not worthy of you. If you stay in this marriage, we want nothing to do with you. We won't help you when she leaves you destitute. Seeing Lena and Louis's behavior, I decided to reveal the truth. I knew telling them my true net worth would make them beg and plead. I don't need to take Gabriel's money. I have plenty on my own, and I'll take care of him just fine without your help. Nice try, June. You don't have to lie to us, Lena snapped. Yeah, you're just the daughter of a poor man. You don't make enough money from your job to support Gabriel, Louis added. Well, actually, I have $50 million in my bank account. And no, I didn't earn it from my job. It's from my father. That's impossible. Your father didn't have anything, Lena scoffed. Don't try to deceive us, June. We can see through your lies. It won't work. We'll make sure you divorce our son and leave him to us, Louis threatened. I smiled at them and glanced at Gabriel, who gave me the go-ahead. He knew me well enough to anticipate what was coming next. I opened my bank account and showed them my balance. Louis and Lena's eyebrows shot up in disbelief. They exchanged a shocked look and stammered, "No, this can't be real. You must have faked these bank statements. You said you didn't inherit anything. How? You also mentioned your father didn't own his house. Where did this money come from?" Lena demanded. What I didn't mention was that my father owned a big ranch where he lived. He sold it before he passed away and gave me an early inheritance. He didn't want me to use my own money for his care. Unlike you two. Louis and Lena couldn't believe what they were seeing or hearing. They turned to Gabriel for confirmation, and when he confirmed it, they fell silent for a moment, exchanging another look. Then their tone shifted completely. Oh, this is wonderful news. We thought Gabriel made a mistake, but your father did right by you, June. You should have told us about this sooner, Lena exclaimed. Yeah, we got worked up for nothing. You did marry well, son. We're so happy for you both, Louis added. With Gabriel's expression, I knew my job was done. He would handle the rest, so I held back my frustration and let him take over. I trusted him to make the right decisions, and he didn't disappoint. Gabriel was furious and unleashed his anger on his parents. How dare you stand here and keep talking to us? You were pushing us to divorce, and now you act like June is family. How could you? We didn't know her net worth back then, Gabriel. She hid the truth from us. How are we supposed to know she's actually rich? Louis pleaded. Yeah, June, we're sorry for assuming the worst. You surprised us. Can we move past this now that you've got an apology? Lena added. No, absolutely not. I won't forgive you for what you did today. I just buried my father, and you didn't let me grieve in peace. I'll never forget or forgive this. It's enough. Since you think so little of me, you don't deserve to be in my life. Get out of my house and don't come back. Starting next month, you're on your own. I won't be helping you financially anymore. You don't deserve it after today. After Gabriel's ultimatum, Louis and Lena went ballistic, begging and pleading for us not to cut them off. But neither Gabriel nor I paid them any mind. Gabriel was so angry that he threatened to call the police if they didn't leave our house. Eventually, they heard the warning and left, but they continued to blow up our phones with calls and texts. We blocked their number and warned them that we would press charges if they didn't stop harassing us. For the next few days, Gabriel handled his family while I focused on grieving for my father. Finally, in a peaceful setting, I could reflect on my childhood memories and remember my father for the good times. He was truly amazing. When he understood I didn't want to move back south, he sold his property so I wouldn't have to worry about it. He even used some of the sale money to pay for hospice, not wanting me to spend my own money on his care. He was a great parent, and I miss him dearly. While Gabriel mourned the loss of his toxic family, he faced guilt from others who didn't understand why he cut ties. However, when he shared the full story, they stopped pressuring him. Now, everyone who knows Louis and Lena is disgusted by their behavior. Despite us blocking their numbers and changing our locks, they persistently try to contact us. We're considering restraining orders if they don't stop soon. Meanwhile, I recently discovered that I'm pregnant. It's bittersweet knowing my father won't be part of my child's life, but Gabriel and I are excited about this unexpected blessing. We're preparing ourselves to welcome our little one into